Now, South Carolina works on that. Okay. It's coming Friday, and they come back I'm sorry. Hey, how are you? Sound hopeful. Yeah, it's I mean, it's literally a line.
Hey,
how are you, bud?
I'm good. How about you? Thank you.
I didn't know. I'd heard and I was like, I don't know if he's coming or is he calling or what.
Yeah, he's coming.
Well, she thought she was.
I just haven't got it.
I normally don't go to the work session that don't mean
No, I thought you had to explain.
yeah.
I'm good.
Mark Carter, hold on.
We're doing it.
Looking good. Look good.
Absolutely.
I'm glad. No, you look good. I'll sit right there. Stay right there. Yes.
He walked about 15 foot, he was winning. And now he just took off out of here. Quick run.
All that medical stuff these days.
The stars really aligned.
Amazing. Yeah.
Give him a date. To make this date, we can get you. So, you know, you're in your mind, you're down the state and just like, to me, that was,
Oh, yes.
but then on the very first day, I think it was February 28th or something, they said, if you make it that day, we got you. The next day, it's coming. 20 surprise.
Days are numbered, but he never says, hey, circle down there. That's, I mean,
I agree.
I we just emailed, but we got it.
I've got this reports already off, this is how it goes. And it to my this is several pages. I just don't show you how long. Yeah, it was 0.26 or something like that, 26 cents on the dollar. Alan just brought that to me today. First time you've been told to look good by another grown man.
Well, that last week,
But you know, I saw that, and the first screenshot on this night and day. I just, I really, you were a pretty quick walk. You was in 15 hours.
it's just like a different man. It's just amazing what the liver does, you know. Thank you.
Hey, young lady. Should I say zoom, zoom, zoom? How we use zoom, zoom, zoom? It won't be that bad. Shoulders to the end. This is come on.
Sure. And I'll,
Okay. So you want to do this in your comment section? When do you feel? November 1st or something. I get it. No, I get it.
and I'll notarize it.
How are you?
About, Mr. Kirk.
Thank you. I feel it too. I wish it too.
I haven't been there in the back.
I want it to make
Oh, okay.
I told her I was gonna keep it out.
Oh,
Something else. You and I are gonna go to the leadership. That's right. If they get it together, that'd be good.
That's the only way out, said it was only about 30 or so spots. There is,
That's what they
Coming a whole row.
so we'll see.
Mike coming?
pardon me?
Mike.
Hey, you're down. My friend.
You can start.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get some extra chairs back there.
You know, last year, I mean, yeah,
I even had it online class.
I know you did.
But it's good.
Yeah.
yeah. One,
Broadband.
both of us signed up for just one year.
Are you working?
I still got to do the other 2 days.
Everybody, South
Okay.
North Dakota, Michigan.
Hey, look back at
That's
that.
great.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on the way. That's what I'm
Very pleased.
He's like leaving the middle 2 weeks.
Right. Well, oh,
There he is.
find out. But it's just with your fourth quarter report. Okay.
So we probably will let that
The
go.
man y'all start worrying. No. Hopefully you're keeping us out of.
I've been trying,
But I'm glad
to see you back. Yeah.
Looking good?
Yeah. Did you get my email?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, I figured you'd have already done that. I forgot to respond to you. But I,
No, that's fine.
thank you.
Just wanna make sure.
Yep.
Still getting them. I do understand me too, but I still think, the vote's made, let's just say, choose the social distancing.
Fine, and you give me extra. No, it's too late.
Almost like a total.
It's fine. Video. Just come walking in. Would you like a bottle of water?
You bring
Would you like a bottle?
I got that into place. No, that's my thing.
Yeah.
Don't take me leave. You just know
I'm about to call an emergency right now. That's why I put you on the shield from now on.
Yeah.
Shield. Like, heat shield.
You have one for you?
Well, welcome everybody here to the Madison County Board of Commissioners meeting, March 29th, 2021, 6:06 p.m. I would ask you to please pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank y'all. Before y'all see a copy of the minutes from the 2021 regular business meeting and March 1st, 2021 agenda setting work session. Take a couple minutes to look over those. If you feel there's no discrepancies, I'll ask for a motion to both the minutes from February 22nd and March 1st.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Ms. Bettis,
Second.
second by Derek Doster. All in favor, Denny?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Businesses involved groups and multiple visitors. We have a large crowd. Ms. Jennifer Ivey.
Thank you for putting us on the agenda tonight. I have several library representatives with me. I'm here to give the fourth quarter report 2020, so this is a while back now, but you have a copy of it in your packets there. And so I'll just hit the high notes for the statistics. Patron visits were up 30.5% from the previous. Materials, I only have numbers for October and November, but it was an 89% increase over the previous year, and that was also right when we started our in-person library services, so I would think that would explain that one. Our raw totals for October through December was 658 curbside circulations, grab-and-go hours, which is in-person browsing, 115 computer appointments, and 102 computer walk-ins. So for adult programming highlights, as I mentioned, the grab-and-go actually started September 30th, so we were open to the public all of 2020. In December, our layout front became a little patrons and community members to give or take what they needed, and we also donated about 35 paperbacks to the Madison County Jail. On the next page, the picture is our booth at the Madison School Career Fair. We were highlighting on our website, and which has some test prep in there too. For youth programming highlights in October, we did offer trick-or-treating on Halloween via curbside, so we handed out 21 bags of goodies, and in November, we're added to our curbside services. We've been doing crafts for younger kids the whole year, but we added some snacks and a free book for high school students that want to drop by. And on the next page, the picture is actually our children's specialist, Carly Stewart, Dinosaurs for November story time, which was virtual. Our online viewers enjoyed that as we did. If there was any questions. In other news, staff training, I attended the orientation session of Appalachian Leadership Institute in session in December. That is ongoing, and it's all virtual right now. Our children's specialist, Carly, and library assistant, Zach, did a few webinars as well, and those are listed. I also submitted an article to the Georgia Library Quarterly that was published in their fall, included in your packet. And my children's specialist, Carly Stewart, and library Cannon were both accepted to the Masters of Library and Information at Valdosta State University. So, future librarians with us now. The Friends had an outdoor holiday market on one Saturday in October. They made over $300. That all comes back to the library in the form of new books. Our meeting room has been closed to the public for the past year, but we did open it for an identified need, and we considered the blood drive that, so we partnered with the Red Cross and had a few able to do that, and with 9th District Opportunity to provide sign-up energy assistance. So that was done at the library. Included in your packet, I think it's on purple, but a couple of things with that. We do online resource tutor.com, which is free for people to access through the for grade academic help through a range of subjects, and there's live chat, so it's a really cool free resource. We also added a tie-brary, or a library of ties, in the building, so if anyone would like to go with you or a school dance or a wedding or any occasion where they might need a tie and not have one, if you know anybody in that situation, let me know. Or if you would like to ties, I'll take those too. Also, we are hoping to be adding additional grab-and-go hours sometime in the future. So we are moving in the direction of this for our patrons. Potential board member to present, and the national. Would you like me to? Is that you?
Do what?
Are you doing that?
I got it.
Okay. I'll defer to you for this.
All right. So, considering approval proclamation April 4th through 2021 National Library. I have the proclamation in front of me. Everyone should have this in your packet. Want me to read this to y'all? You want me to read it aloud?
Yes. All right. Want to hear it?
Whereas, Libraries have long served as a trusted and where people of all ages, interests, and come together to learn alongside one another. Whereas libraries of all types are at the heart of cities, towns, schools, and campuses. The Madison County Library continued to offer copying, printing, internet access, as well as reader advisory via curbside service during COVID-19 pandemic. The Madison County Library provided Wi-Fi access 24/7 in the library parking lot throughout the pandemic, increased sources and links to accurate health information, provided digital access library cards, remote computer sessions by appointment during the libraries, which promote the free exchange of information and ideas for all, and the cornerstone of democracy. The Madison community outreach by donation drop-off for items for the Madison County Food Bank and other organizations, including donations used books to Madison County Jail Library. The Madison County hosted programs virtually via Facebook Live, such as the Census 2020 question and answer, census representatives, storytime programs for young children. Libraries are a resource for all members of the community, regardless of race, ability, sexual orientation, gender, or socio-economic status, on programming that transforms lives and strengthens communities. Libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating Library Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved, Madison County hereby proclaim National Library Week, April 4th through the 10th, 2021, during this time, to call the library for current hours of operation and visit the library, a place where we can all belong and discover who we are. Because of you, libraries transform. So we need a motion to approve this proclamation.
Motion to approve the proclamation.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Strickland. Change. I'm sorry, Terry, bless your heart.
That would cost.
Here, go ahead. Mr. Chandler.
It's been a
It's been, I have a first and second, Mr. Adams and Mr. Chandler, do I have a motion?
Yes.
Yes.
It's unanimous. All right.
Too good. Thank you so much.
I didn't say which one now.
What's yours
like a
either way?
photo?
Yeah.
Can we do a photo?
Huh?
Can we do a photo?
Sure.
I'd like our director, Valerie Bell, to be in the photo as well.
That's okay, if Mike wants to do it.
Our board chairman is here. Nobody will stand up except for me. Assistant Director for Services, Toby Mason, is here. Madison County too.
There you go.
Put it right up here so
I would
Zach can
think
get in
so,
the middle
yeah.
and then we can catch the board members also.
Yes.
I'd like to get the board members, if y'all close in, we'll step
Sure.
on back so we can get them in here.
Okay.
How about that?
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. And the last thing you'll have to hear from me about is, we actually have a potential member, Linda Pitt, has expressed interest in joining our board. She would be replacing Karen Harrison, whose term has expired. All of our board members are unanimous to have her come on the board, and she is here tonight. Linda Pitts is here to join the library with your approval. If you have any comments or questions for her or me.
I do have one.
Okay.
How in the world does anybody get?
Oh, from Anchorage to Tampa, Florida. Yeah, I'm a military,
Gotcha.
and that's how we got to Anchorage.
Thank you. So we need us to vote for for the hire of this guy. I don't know if it's to the university side or the Madison County side, so.
It's the Madison County
Perfect,
side, but
no
yeah, y'all have
problem.
to approve all of our board members, so,
That's fine.
so that's,
I would ask to consider a motion to hire Miss Linda Pitts to fill the vacant position on the Library Board of Trustees.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by
Second.
Mr. Brian Kirk, second by Teresa Bettis. All in favor? Teresa?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Unanimous. Thank you, young lady.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Miss Ivy,
Yes.
do you have any idea when y'all will possibly be open back up for full business hours?
I do not, not for full business hours, no.
Okay, that's through the,
Sorry.
great.
Library open up April. So it's going to be about 9% of the hours that you normally had that are going to be open now, starting April 5th. And
Thank
then
you
we'll
very
be
much.
opening, in mid-May, including the use of the meeting room with social distancing.
Thank you, Miss Ivy, for everything you do up there.
Thank you.
Nice.
Y'all wanna come around and have a comfier seat, bud?
Speak over here. I'm gonna,
No, that's fine. All right, Chairman's report. First off, I'd like to express my appreciation to the Woodman Life Chapter 1415 for the recent $169 towards the purchase of the 2021 Ford Escape for the Madison County Senior Center Meals on Wheels program. Senior Center delivered about 2,000 meals a month, and that vehicle, which dated, it was a 1997 model that they were currently using, had over 200,000 miles. I'd also Jackson EMC, who granted the award of $15,000 to the Senior Center vehicle. The grant that Kelsey had applied for and won, the vehicle has been, it also is now using delivery. With that, I did tell the Life Chapter to put their logo on. They do a lot for this county that maybe some of us here don't know about. Every flag we have is contributed from the Woodman Life Foundation. They give them to us. They do a lot for us, and I think Lanier Burden, correct me if I'm wrong, is our local agent. All right. So everybody's heard about the Madison County portion of the American Rescue Plan. Zach, that was a very good breakdown for the county side and the city side. Actually, on the city side, I didn't even have, so investigative reporting, I guess you could say. Madison County should receive, they say it's a set amount, but it's subject to change. We don't know exactly. $5.795,042, so $5,795,000. We'll receive half of that amount sometime in June. We will receive the other half of that amount 12 months after. County governments across the country, across the whole United States, government is in limbo, waiting on the Treasury guidelines, on the eligibility of. I have sat through several, and Rhonda sat through some, purchasing, Kathy, finance, everybody sat through some of these webinars trying to pick the information they're going to give us some guidance, some clear. As of right now, they are none. All we know is that we can, Zach may know, All we know is rolling pensions. That's really the only two guidelines that's been set aside. The intent for Madison as of right now is going to be to the initial, which will be potentially creating a broadband system for the county. We're looking into that. We are also looking into possibly dipping our toes into the sewer business and trying to sewer plant established. Now, all this is just hypothetically speaking, because as of right now, we still don't know how to spend the money, but know that it is coming. Last week, and I think maybe the week before, met with David Jones. Some of y'all may have been here when David was in the building. On several broadband companies, he approached Terry, myself, Lee Mitchell, with the idea of maybe forming our own broadband system. And Terry met with him 2 weeks ago now to discuss some ideas for broadband system in the county, considering he built and had several companies in the past that done this. We've reached out to another contractor that does broadband, and Tom Harder, who used to own Engineering Associates, and they have come up with some numbers also as to what this county will need. Alan can give me the exact numbers, but on the road, 89 miles of state highway, 100 and some odd, 217 miles of dirt roads or something like that? 112? Okay. So this is quite of an undertaking. Again, I can't say much because I don't know much, because they haven't told us our guidance yet, but I would like to see some of this money be used for matching funds. There's been some stuff come down from the Capitol lately to where it looks like they're to us rural counties. With the school being virtual pretty much all year, we come to realize quickly, if we didn't already know, that virtual was the top priority for the county. Second priority is getting industry. They all come hand in hand. You get the broadband, you get the sewer. With that being said, I will let everybody know that we are heavily looking into broadband. I have another meeting Friday. The meeting will be with from North Dakota to South, and that's the only meeting Friday. To look at a feasibility study. The first step of any part of this is a feasibility. So I'm being $30,000 and $35,000 to have it done. If we do move toward funding on top of the American Rescue, our portion of the match, it'll contribute to our portion, so it won't necessarily just be out, which it'll take a lot more than this to do this count. And the two contractors in the room to full county, excluding dirt roads. And I'm not saying we're excluding them, don't get me wrong here. In the state highways, we're looking at about $7.5 million to do a broadband system for the county. The wireless works good. Site. Madison County has a lot of hills. We can hit the water dome, but everybody that's in a valley still won't work. So, a lot more. I keep everybody posted as I know more. But that's just some of the stuff that we've been working on. Ask Rhonda right now. She'll tell you this is just a little bit of it, ain't it, girl? While I'm under Chairman's report, I have a somewhat sad news for Madison County, for myself and this board. So, the lady of her word has given her 6-month notice. Effective September 24th, 2021, after 15 years of service, Ms. Rhonda will be retiring. I promise you she will be surely missed. In the short time that we work together on a daily basis, it has been my pleasure It has been a pleasure.
Mine too.
I know previous chairman in the past, I won't speak for John because I've done much. He stays busy, but I do see Anthony a lot, and he said the exact same thing. It was nothing but a pure pleasure. The service that you've given me, and I'm going to appreciate the next 6 months while I have you.
Yeah, we have
So, I hope we don't work you to death before the retirement.
Me too.
Yeah. Yes. It's, the atmosphere has changed. It is a positive day to come to work every day. It really is. From a county, I would, also thinking Rhonda and so many of the department heads right now. I see Michael Poor right now. I don't know that the future is bright. We have a lot of good positive stuff going on, and it takes people like this to get us to this point. I have for Miss Rhonda, and that's going to be Christina Baxter, who currently is our purchasing agent. She works alongside Pettigrew. Rhonda's going to be training her as we go. Good at what she does now, very good. So I'm sort of creating a hole. I'm taking a really good in this job and I'm moving them to this job, so now I'm going to have another job. So, but either way, it's going to be a win-win. We discussed this, myself, the department head of finance, and Rhonda, who would your pick be at this point? And we've agreed with an inspiring person coming through the door. So I look forward to you working with her and teaching her what 15 years of being in county government's all about. It's not all cupcakes, is it? Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. Report from citizens on tonight's agenda items. Yes.
May I start this?
Sure.
I'm speaking on behalf of Ms. Bree Love on the Outer Hope Rogers Road. Respectfully, and I visited the road, but respectfully, they submitted a petition saying that everyone that lives on the roadway, that it be considered in the fall for our 2021 when we put together paving for the roads. It's a limited amount of paving up there, and it has been probably 25 years since that road's seen any work at all.
Absolutely, no problem. Back up just one step. So, in the chairman's report, thank you for that.
Yes.
In the chairman's report, there's been some emails bouncing around about T-Splosh, transportation splosh. Derek had and myself, with being in the same voting year as the Board of Education, the E-Splosh. At this time, I think we will probably move forward in November of getting this on for the transportation splosh. I would like for Zach, he's going to do a wonderful article on it. This splosh is strictly for roads and projects. This could move us ahead in the paving projects 10 full years and almost just one passing. Where me and Alan's done the math, you've heard us say the states we're on right now, it takes 45 years to pave every road in the county based on the incoming dollar figures we have to pay now. Asphalt lasts about 50. We're never going to get ahead without something like this. This will be an in-county splosh. The money county, the money will not go to Atlanta. And I know there was a big misconception when this thing went around a few years ago, and it was, or even our state media here, Fox News, WSB, and all those, it had everybody under the impression that whatever tax dollars you spent in your county was going to go to us. That will not be how this is structured. This will be in-house only. So just look coming. All right. I'm sorry. Statements and remarks from citizens on each agenda item. You want to speak? Yes, Ms. Rowley.
Thank you, commissioners, ladies and gentlemen. I want to speak on an issue that I have followed quite some time and have chosen to say very little about controversies over the recreation situation in this county. The situation requires me to offer an option for you guys to consider. Those of you who may not know my background, let me be perfectly transparent. In Madison County, before there was a recreation department. At the University of Georgia, there was no recreation department, although there were some discussions about what should be done. I completed a master's degree in rec from Florida State University. Don't ask me how. But at the time, Chairman Sammy Haggard and some very forward-thinking commissioners were looking at obtaining a land and water. And when I returned from Florida State, there was a building that's still there that houses our administrative office. And I think my children played here, both in rec league and in little league. A lot of dogs in the type, but I have a couple of puppies. My grandchildren who are currently playing in the softball and in travel ball. Both played in the recreation departments in other communities in other counties. They played Little League. Furthermore, to be fully trained, 7 member of the Parks Association. I've been recognized by my professional peers with the Distinguished Professional Award, and I was selected to the Recreation Hall of Fame. That means underweights. I make this to be clear that the situation affects me because this is my profession, and the future of not only my grandchildren but children into this community and into this in the future. Now I want to stop here and clarify the Education of Parks, or GRPA as some people only know it, is the Professional Association of Recreators, and individual member agencies from city and county departments like ours. But it also includes like YMCA's, churches. There's some authorities and recreation commissions in the state. It includes state parks and other individuals and groups. Continuing advocacy, professional development, as well as for the athletic competition for state and district tournament play are among their missions. Association's athletic program guides much more than youth baseball and soccer. Track, there's swimming, there's lacrosse, there's soccer, there's pickleball, you name it. However, it does not any member agency or county how to set rules or run their department or their agency. Among there are nurses that are available to departments as they expand their new offerings. Now, with that background, state of recreation in Madison County, and for some time, this has really bothered me, and finally, it's led me to speak out. Not being rumors and comments like, when I played, when so-and-so was in, but he or she wouldn't listen. He said, she said, they said, somebody else said. It's getting us nowhere. Many years ago, and if you'll pardon me, a very incredibly wise county extension agent in Lawrence County shared two valuable lessons. One, never get into a pissing contest with a skunk, because no ends, everybody sings. And there's a reason that the windshield is so large. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe it's time for a new course focused on the future of recreation and leisure services in Madison County. Therefore, I offer this as a suggestion. What about having the entities involved, the MCYA, the North Georgia Raiders, baseball, whoever the players are, designate 3 or 4 who are willing to turn ideas to something that, for lack of a better word, I'm going to call a recreation summit, the future of recreation in Madison County. This would involve a few meetings. I was guided by an outside facilitator whose sole interest is to guide productive discussion, so that in the end there would be a roadmap Madison County can reach having the best organized programs possible for its residents. The expectations that I would suggest would be that these representatives be open, whether they're short or long term, the authority to influence and guide their respective organizations. All entities I have mentioned have stated publicly and on social media that their interest is what is best for the kids in Madison. I believe that this series of meetings would give them the opportunity to prove that this is truly their goal and end the squabbling. This process cannot be a long drawn-out event. That I could or should be involved in this group. However, I am willing to offer whatever resources to help identify someone who can help come. I will close by saying that there are many to be addressed, but I'd also ask that those who feel the need to negatively comment or bash those organizations, other than the one that they have, please agree. It is not good for our children, nor start looking forward through the windshield and help determine how to get to where we are. Thank you, Mr. Rouse.
Anybody else have any statements or remarks on tonight's agenda?
Mr. Adams, for submitting our petition at Rogers Road. I'm Brenda Wiggins, 1418, and that's all the roads except for 3 that we were unable to catch at home. It's only 3 miles if you look at the whole road, and it's about 50 years old. It's like 1970, and this is the original portion done by when Mr. Sammy Haggard was the road commissioner. I remember when it was dirt up until that point. But we thought when which is soon, I think this year, closer by, so if there's it's common sense to come on over and do our little street. It's just 2 miles on Outer Hope Rogers, and then the about a mile. And anyone who's been on Frank Bird knows how anything much with water. So thank you for considering that.
Thank you. All right. Keep in mind, on April 5th is our work session meeting. That's when these topics right here is discussed and in-depth voting meeting. It was your opportunity on tonight. tonight's agenda or anything
Yeah,
else?
just agenda items,
Yeah,
correct.
just on the agenda items, all right. So, all right. Consider approving license for Dogborough LLC. Is that represented here? Yes, I knew I saw you. Come on up, young lady. As we had discussed, go ahead and fill your name for the record.
My name is Melanie Dove, and Mr. Betts said that he would be here. He did have an issue that he had prior, and he sent me in his post again.
That's fine. Has anything changed since the work session? Everything is the same. Everyone has a copy of the paperwork from Sheriff Moore. Everyone has a copy of the paperwork from Madison County Board of Commission. Mike, has everything, I'm assuming, been vetted, done, background checks? Everything was done for Michael. Has it met our requirements as far as the county government goes?
Well, I mean, you've all received my analysis. So
Yeah. For us is complete. I would ask for a motion to approve or deny 2020, anything you'd like to do this before we go. I'd ask for a motion to approve or deny the beer and wine license for Dogborough LLC.
I make a motion to.
I have a motion by Ms. Bettis to deny.
Second.
Second by Derek Doster. Brian, it's on you.
Yeah.
First vote.
Wait,
Yes.
wait a minute. For discussion, but on this one, we do have, if it's gonna be a denial, we have to state the reasons for denial. So,
Oh, okay. I'm not used to denial. So far, it's, all right. Ms. Bettis?
Basically what, Mr. Pruitt has provided. Can you state it in?
yeah, sure. So, I mean, so what I provided to everybody was just the letters from, you know, the denial letters from the last two applications. The only, so that was provided with those, so same analysis there. There are the tax return provided in addition this, so it would be up to the commissioners if they think that. Of course, you don't have to go with what the commission did before, but if you think before and warrant denial, and that the addition of the tax returns don't change that, then those would be the reasons for denial.
Derek, you standing on that same?
My concern was, I'm not sure the correct terminology, but the idea, there's still enough questions for me that there may be a straw purchase type situation.
Okay. If I can clarify anything at all, Mr. Betts owns the records. I can give you articles of incorporation. I can give you anything he needs. He's there every single day. I'm there every single day. I don't know what else I can do for you guys to prove that he owns this business. He does everything managerial that this business needs. So it's anything otherwise.
But under the consideration, I believe the information that was provided, that there's a lease to another person that hasn't been articulated, would take over that.
I have no idea what you're even talking about. I'm so sorry. You have to explain me.
I have the paperwork in front of me. You understand, when he leases the property, the third-party lease person that may already have it, from my understanding, with the documentation that's provided.
So, Commissioner Doster's talking about is that, so this lease agreement from 2018 through 2020 with automatic extensions, but Irfan and his business, Amir Inc., already had it leased through 2021.
And there was a lease cancellation.
That's not part of what's been submitted here.
Okay, if I had have been notified that I needed to submit that to you, back to you.
That's been in the applications and nobody ever submitted anything.
So are you saying you have this document?
Yes, sir, most definitely.
So would this document change the decision? All I'm doing, I'm just verifying facts for, I don't like to go off rumors, as we just heard Ms. Rouse say a minute ago. I want to go off facts in front of us, because if it's at a level,
Yes.
I need to make sure that they're not going to go off what they've heard for the past 8 or 10 years. They're going to go off what's in front of them. So that's what I want to go off these documents right here. If there's a document that's missing,
I haven't had any contact with Mr. Pruitt over this last month, so if I have been told to provide it. There's no way, I've been in real estate for a very long time. I have 2 leases on a property anyway. If you're leasing a property to someone, you're leasing it to them. You're not leasing it to 2 different people that can be in the same property.
I think what Mr. Pruitt's saying is we have no documentation that that has ever taken place.
And if I had have known that we needed that, I would for you.
And I think that to the other parties, now whether that was passed on to Mr. Bett, I have no idea. He should have been known that. And so I'll make a get that documentation, and then we can make a better decision on that.
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify for the commissioner, yeah, the first application of May 23rd, 2018 was sent directly to Mr. Betts. It says the board was previously supplied a lease by the current of the city of Amir Inc. The terms of which 2021 with an option to extend through 2026. The lease you signed from the same owner landlord LLC is for a term of April 1, 18 through March 31, 20. Although your lease recites that Amir Inc.'s lease shall end the day before Dogsboro LLC starts business, Amir Inc. 1F of your lease describes an intended purchase by you of the business current tenant. Again, however, the current tenant is not inconsistent dates bought the business from Mr. Shafiq on April 1, 20. So, and that's repeated in the March 27, 2019 denial letter.
From my standpoint, as a commissioner here, I would just like to know that there is no relationship to previous owner.
There's
And
no,
I just need some documentation that
sure.
provides
And I would
that.
be happy to provide that for
And
you.
that's the reason I say that needs to be
All of the,
vetted.
anything is in Dogsboro LLC. Mr. Betts solely owns that business, and I would be happy to provide you that if there is some communication that you for that.
Well, he's the owner, we've been communicating with him. He needs to communicate with you.
Sure. I would like to request that you guys table this documentation for you.
all right.
Yes,
Are
sir.
you the manager
Yes, sir.
for
Mr. Betts.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes, sir.
Any further questions? So I have a motion to deny, a second by Mr. Doster to deny, table by Mr. Kirk.
Pretty specific.
You can either postpone indefinitely or to a date certain. The second on on that motion to table, whichever one that is, then so you vote on it first.
You wanna put a specific date on that?
What kind of input do y'all give? Since y'all made the original on it to
To the next meeting. I don't know, the date on
voting meeting?
April 29th, is it not?
19.
19th.
Okay, I'll put
Second the motion to table.
So does this override that one now?
First, if it passes, then the first one goes away.
Okay.
How about the table? Yes.
Yeah, April 29th.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
April 19.
April 19th. Considering the road department's salaries, Alan.
I've talked to each and every one of you over a few weeks. Y'all got the piece of paper in front of you. We're trying to base pay rate. At the beginning of the year, y'all did help compensate some of the guys that have been here and everything else, but our pay rate is still coming in. So with that, we're trying to increase that up to whatever y'all recommend. So the CDL class B, right now, trying to get that up to $1.25, and then a CDL A driver going from $1.25 up to $2. So that would be some decent qualified people. Instead of starting a person at 10.02 and they have CDL A right now, 27. Not very qualified. That's why we have had vacancies within several, with all the time here, so. There was two different proposals in front of you. So whichever one y'all recommend and everything.
Proposal, Alan, it looks like, you know, you're saying there's $3,000 in change between the two.
But I don't have those numbers right there in front of me. Yes, sir.
And that is part of it.
That is not the hidden FICA, your retirement, stuff like that. That's not included. Plus, you got also things, we're already 3 months into the year. That is actually a full year also at the same time, so.
What's your turnover rate for employees over there?
The last few years, very, now you do have some there that have been there 15, 25, 35 years. The current ones that have come in the last 4 to 5 years, most of them have not stayed because of the salary.
The other side of this, we need to make the decision to go with either one of these proposals. That would allow us to fill some vacant positions, and that also would increase on the budget.
I guess, in looking at both these proposals, where I'm working, and everybody's starting at least $12 an hour. And in fact, that Caterpillar straight off the street is making more than that. And that includes forklifts. That, and CDL drivers are making way more. So if there are any openings come, these people are going to leave. I help any get come in here that have the experience and the expertise. I would myself, I think that it's just one of the places we need to spend some money.
And I think the only reason to stop at that is because we discussed conditional increases in the next coming year. Otherwise, we need to go ahead and make additional suggestions. 100%. If you put that in form of motion, I will second that we go with.
And I suggest with the motion that it be 3/1 to be effective 4/11/21, which is the beginning of the next pay.
Yes. I make a motion that what Ron.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Alan, what are you seeing for applications now? Are you?
Very few, no. Very, very few. We have had a few hit the door the last 2 weeks. We are proposing this and everything else. May not apply, but there are very, very, very few applications coming in.
To be a little more frank on that, we have two in there, and they're coming from the farm, taking them for this price. They're waiting to see what this does to give us the okay to start in a few weeks, only because of the benefits. It's not the money.
Plan B.
Plan B, effective.
4/11/21.
I'll second the motion.
Have a motion by Mr. Second by Mr. Adams.
Yes, for discussion.
Oh, yeah, now it's back to discussion.
And I appreciate Alan bringing this to our attention. I think there's a lot of things that we need to do to try to, help our employees, in all departments. Wish we could do more, wish we could do it quicker. Gas pumps, see stuff going up, I mean, still not easy, because you have to balance the budget, and you still have to, tax digest, taxes, those kind of things. I do appreciate you bringing, these are base pays, and this would include, required to offset the burden. As Alan said,
Through this year cycle, this is it. And then in 2021, we're going to look.
what I'm trying to make sure
We
is
won't be asking for
that,
any more.
what I'm trying to say is that the dollar amount that we're proposed to the paycheck, any additional, requirement for HR to do that.
Yes.
Which I understand is about a 26% burden.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so practice purposes, probably close to about $23,000.
Yes, sir.
Where additional employees are added.
Yeah. Yeah. But I just want to make sure that that's clear, that we know that what you propose is salary only, and we ask finance or HR finance to provide
Additional.
It starts with you.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Consider amending sections 5040F and 5045E 30 of the personnel policy. Mike.
Okay. So this is clarifying, once people are out on workers', that all, what is their status becomes then, which is just sort of silent in the policy now. So the proposed amendment, which would go with those two places, the top is exhausted all sick leave, FMLA leave, and any other leave available to him or her under the personnel still unable to return to work and perform the essential functions of the job with any reasonable accommodations warranted. He or she would be placed on administrative leave without pay, subject to potential of the county. And that's just because, once you have that position, come back even on light duty or the job, then at some point, the county may face just having to, and not have to leave it open for that person still to come back. So it's not an automatic thing, other than you just don't admin leave, making clear that the county still reserves that right to terminate you and fill that position if that becomes.
Any questions or discussion on this topic?
Personnel changes as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Doster, second by, Mr. Kirk. Any discussion?
I'd just like to say, I think that this is the best for the county position long term. And, it's not easy dealing with personnel policy issues, I understand that, but somewhere there's gotta be some protective measures there and to get the work done. So we're not having, additional staff people that can not possibly.
Any other discussion? Denny, Sonia? Yes.
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 Motion carries. Consider discontinuing large animal services. Excuse me. Oh, now I'm sorry. Sorry, bud. Consider moving the code enforcement position under the Board of Commissioners and hiring Christopher Roach to fill this. Michael was in here a little while ago. All the interview process was handled by the Sheriff's Department. Was interviewed, going to be the Sheriff's Office. I think your application process so far was, how many pages was that? Front and back? Was that pamphlet? Questions regarding considering hiring of Mr. Rudd? Any questions regarding bringing the code enforcement board of commissioners? I'll ask for a motion and moving it under the board of commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, we approve the hiring of Christopher Roach as our person to be moved on the responsible board of commissioners from the Sheriff's Office.
Second.
By Terry, second by Ms. Bettis. Any discussion? I know, Derek, you had a couple in the work session, and I got you a few answers on that. They were the vehicles, how we were going to fund that. So, Christopher, we're getting right for you. Just saying.
Like, yeah.
Now, this is where the vehicle's coming from. The 2014 Splash.
Yes.
Was for vehicles, and we're getting a new truck coming.
Yes.
And then we're going to give you his truck, which is in really good shape. He drives it every day. He's really sad to be part of it. Because he's been through.
No.
Yep. He's been several weeks. Yes. Yep. He's got one wheel a week done. That's no truth, Alan. You'd ask about that, and you'd ask about office spaces here. We have a common down in, I think Alan's been working with them, down in the planning and zoning office about doing some shifting around, early. We hope that there's going to be some space available soon to this other building completed down here. Be a little more suitable, not up here, but they wanted you down there with them so they could bark orders at you every day. So,
That's sort of about that.
Sure.
And I don't know that it really matters motion, but do we have a clear definition of the role we expect enforcement officer to play, particularly in relation and in just barriers? Do we have that anywhere, and or do we need to establish that prior to Chris to start?
we do have it currently. All right, so the number one thing for the public to know, with bringing Christopher and this position of code enforcement back under the county is, Jack has talked extensively on this along with Eddie. Solid is one of the biggest ones we face. It's just plain trash. From carports that you can't even get in yet to park outside because there's 300 bags of trash in it. Or old appliances and old, looking to make anybody homeless. This has nothing to do with it. We are just literally trying to make a safe environment for kids, and honestly for the for a more healthy environment. There's a designated role, but we are completely rewriting what it stands now. But there's enough teeth in what we got now. If we just enforce the one we got, it'll be pretty good.
But the code enforcement will not be solely for nuisance behavior.
No.
That's what I want to make sure that we make sure
Yes.
clear what all those roles are, who they will answer to. Or
That's correct.
All that, we can make sure we're.
It's going to be a role. He just don't know it yet. And myself and Jack, we spent about $28,000 inspections out. COVID related from Eddie being gone, or just overwhelmed with all the permits being pulled. So, spoke with Jack. Jack is going to do a couple days a week training with Chris in the areas that Jack, what, 20 years, Jack? Yep. And then also those other couple of days of the week is going with Eddie, the actual building inspector, to find those things that it's not really, don't fall under Eddie. He don't have the requirements to do his stuff to take some of the workload off him, like footings inspection, something very simple to do, just has to be checked off on. He can take that workload off, because like $1,000 last year on an outside contractor on top of what we already done. Go ahead.
Already do count for Department of Agriculture and everything.
Yeah, so it's our number one focus. Our number one focus is enforcing the codes that we have in.
I think what Commissioner Chandler is saying is, I mean, ideal if we should. At one point we did. I don't know if it's been kept. We should have a job description for every position that says where it goes on the pay scale and whether it's exempt or not exempt, where it falls on the org chart.
I can find very few job descriptions for anybody in the county. Few, I heard in the door. I'm just saying, literally. I mean, there was really nothing. There's been nothing over the years. There's a line that we're going to have to go in and eventually fix. Is each individual has to have a job description.
Yeah, I think human resources needs to be in.
And it may be there, particularly in this position, when it's coming out from under the authority of the Sheriff's Department and moving under the Board of Commissioners, or somehow we can make sure that is established.
I agree with that, and I'm hoping that, I guess, once that is established and we do that fairly quickly, since this is a new position, that we'll all understand that. I want it to come down there where you've got the planning and then all those, and everybody thinks that he reports to them.
Right.
He reports basically to the commission. We want to make sure that is, I mean, with all of them. And
not to say there might not be a role there.
Yeah, there might be a role there, and Christopher, anyway, so I think he'll work well with these folks, but we don't want anybody to believe he's just their,
enforcer.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
He's actually going to be the enforcer for taxpayers.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so it hasn't always been over there.
If it was one
Right.
under,
Right.
Yeah,
That's
if
right.
it was under.
yeah, and,
Yes.
this is a very good move on behalf of the county and for the citizens. You would not believe the complaints, and I've drove them. Yeah, we know this, and, wow, it's just not fair to your neighbors. It's not old cars on blocks, it's not antique cars at all. This is a whole different type.
May I address?
Sure.
As far as a road goes, I agree, there should be a layout, especially in who gets to take me into order. So, roll at the moment, taking it back under from maybe open-ended, so to say, a general synopsis of the cliff notes to get the position rolling, but as it develops and into the needs of the county, perhaps not fully ended, or one concise consolidation comes on. You talk about the taxpayers getting these. In my background, actually live on county, have somebody enforcing the county code that doesn't know state or federal code as well, so that they can come in and find citizens. USDA coming in, for example, EPA, EPD would I deal with on a regular basis, and perhaps in code enforcement would also be outreach to it as well. You get it county level before it goes to state or federal level. Things are not only better off, but they're in the pocket. Versus a federal and
Yes.
et cetera. So that helps with the summary discussion or not, but I just wanted to put that out.
Thank you, Bud.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Terry, it's on you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Your trust.
An effective date. Are you working a notice with,
There will be a note in this meeting.
so I'm gonna assume 2 weeks effective date?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Pay period, I guess, is the
Which is,
first and the
yeah, we're,
You have Brother Jack back there. Jack, do you have any comments? Do you have any comments?
No, I'll take you.
Gotcha. Thank you, Jack. All right, now, moving to where I wanted to be a minute ago. Consider discontinuing large animal burial services. Any questions or comments on this topic?
I have had a surprising number of comments about this, and I have to say I agree with them. Obviously, there's some, and I shared this concern with y'all before. We don't need a situation that might facilitate these dead animals laying around. And this de facto service that has just occurred over time, and obviously, thanks to Mike, we're getting some understanding that we may be in some ground that we don't need to be. However, prior to making a decision for the county to change the role there's some things that I feel like we need to have laid out clearly before we even decide that we're going to pick a day change. And this is my list. You may want to add to or take away from. One of the things we found, this is thanks to Chris's comment, I think we need to thoroughly understand what rendering options of an outside entity coming in, picking up animals that are sick or dead, to just completely get them out of here. There could even be some potential income for them. That would be number one. Find out how large of a role that can play, animals that can be played on, used on. The next thing would be to provide a list of, or go to the process and bid this service, bid this potential out single contact in the event that somebody calls the county and asks for this service. That list or that person then would be the number that is given. But whoever or whomever is on that list, we're going to need our date of burial. So when a call is made or when that request is made, the day of burial will occur, and that is a set or an appropriate that would be my second list. The third thing would be a definition of, there's varying of smaller animals that occurs at the transfer station. We need to clearly define, to what extent that will be, there will be a fee there. If you're gonna have a size limit that can be up to 200 pounds, or is it gonna include deer, goat, sheep, whatever, or is you gonna even allow, so we need to define what that component would be. And then and those are, to me, those are the physical aspects of it. And once we decide those, understand those, then we need to do a thorough job of publicizing and educating to the public what these new policies are. And I would utilize the county website, Extension Service, Madison County, Capital Code enforcement, if you want to include the fire department, whatever might help us get the word out. And again, in my mind, this is what I feel like I need to have a good, I need to know is there, and then I would feel comfortable in making the decision of the county's policy, making the decision of the county's policy, and setting curve.
Any other communication?
I would have calls regarding this and then any other subject in the county until we can put in at least a call list of people who are willing to do this. You know, it's almost like the rotating tow service thing at the sheriff's department. Again, I've got to say I keep cows and horses. I've never had to use the county for this service, but I know that there are people that have become over. But until we can have something in place to replace it, I'm not sure that we need to go down this road.
Mr. Ken,
Speak, yes.
just so you know, the state code is 24 hours from federal government. No, the same day also.
Right, yeah,
yeah.
Right. And that's sort of surprised. I talked to a citizen in my district, and she said the concern that she had, and I absolutely agree, she actually had the reason that she began to use the cash service because she made calls to try to get them passed, and it may be a day, 2 days, 3 days. It has to be if we're going to have a list, then that list, whoever is on that list is allowed to bid, and there'll be one person on that list, and this is what we expect in order for you to be on the list. And when you get that call, it will be same-day burial, and then they need to be trained or at least educated on the appropriateness of a proper burial on site, a component of whoever's on that list as well.
Maybe we could put this under Chris's and the other duties as a sign. Like, yeah, he might coordinate the call with this.
In fact, that may be one of you, that'd suit me for that to be one of your first tasks is to just lay this out. Yeah.
Y'all want to
With
table it till
Well,
next month?
I got one question, Mr. Pruitt here.
Yeah.
Can there be persons that to do this?
Well, it'd be fine for the county to keep a list and just say.
Keep a list, and this is suggested.
That's just as it has to be open to whoever wants to be on it, whatever objective you put in place. I don't think you can, dictate, the one exception to being able to dictate to citizens who they have to pay privately is waste disposal. It's written in statute that way, which I don't think we can do that.
And I did not mean to suggest that, but my thought process to have the list of people that will be willing to do it for a given price, or bid it out for us to whoever would give the best price, and then that would be the person that for the county, that would be the number that's given out.
I don't know we list bid that out.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Is that, we couldn't bid it out, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how we can do that.
Bid it out to get on that list.
Yeah, all you could really do is.
That's just you can't. The point is, we got to make sure that we.
Yeah, I fully agree with you on that, knowing the answers to that. I just would rather have to be.
And I certain.
But
when we develop, or if we go down the road to develop the list, Mike, can we determine what the fee, can we have it as a standard thing? Because, you know, if you got one guy that's $200 and the other guy, you just happen to, depending on when your animal died, you wrong one. Is that something the county can do?
I don't think we can dictate prices, but we also, I don't think we can, it's not a rotating thing that you have, again, we can't tell people who to use. I think the most we could do would be to have this list that we keep, and if somebody does animal disposal, we give them everything on the list.
Question about the transfer station. At what point?
As long as we pull animals at a time and everything else, we normally get up to goats and stuff like that. We've never, smaller stuff, yes, but we've never accepted it down there or anything like that. Because I'm pretty sure we are limited to the amount of space. Jack might know more about this, of where we can put that because of the closure and post-closure of the current landfill and everything else. So they limit us to where we can put stuff down there, so.
But we got to think about outside. We got to get it here. If it's a 3,000-pound cow or horse.
Well, it wouldn't be that big.
Well, whatever, however big it is. I'm not a farmer, but however big it is, you got to load that thing and then try to get it here and then get it unloaded.
I would say all your pets, goats.
That's right.
Sheep, that size, I would say definitely, as long as you don't have 5 or 10 at one time to do that. Definitely, no problem with that.
As we as commissioners are considering these, Alan's folks that they go back and do some further looking other than the list we got. This is not just farm animal related. Depending on the year, every 4th or every 5th deer. So a lot of this is just deer gets hit in the road, deer gets shot and dies in somebody's yard. And I personally separate horses from production animals. So you're looking at like you're close to 20% of that list is horses as well. So we're not talking about this is reaching just into the production community. So it's important for us to make sure we're being considerate of everybody when doing that.
So I'm going to speak on for it. And it's not necessarily saying he's against it, don't get me wrong, but I want to hear both sides of the story. For one, I'm going to go by the law and where we got to stand. Now, I've pitched that idea a couple times, exactly what he told me just the other day with some of those ideas, and good ideas, advertising, letting people know when this is going to come. But I've been stated to more than once. Farmers has been burying animals for 1,000 years. We're the only county that does this. Farmers are not dumb. They're very intelligent individuals. They know what they can do, resources they can call. I'm clearly repeating what's been told to me over and over and over and over again. When I mentioned put together some type of an area to groom them over, the word coddling was told. I'm like, you're trying to hold somebody's hand. And I said, no ma'am, no sir, and no ma'am again. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to put something in place that Madison County residents are not used to. And they said, but the rest, how we got to do this for them? So that's all I'm stating. I did tell them it was illegal. They want to know which part of it was illegal. I tried to explain that. They said it wasn't illegal. But again, these are things that I'm getting thrown at. I've also heard, I don't own any animals. They went in business to be in the animal selling, raising, selling, growing, killing, eating industry. We should be intervening in that. They chose that line of work. I'm just saying. But I do agree that there needs to be a time frame to make this transition. Tomorrow may not be the best day. Name was brought up. We did verify that there is no state licensing to bury animals. One time we had heard you'd be licensed to do it. Department of Ag said no. All you have to do is, any farmer can stop by the office and grab a copy of this. And this is from the Department of Ag, Chapter 43, Chapter 40-13, Animal Protection, 5 Data Animal Disposal. And all this is to make sure they meet setbacks. It has to be XA, the hole has to be X deep, X wide, so forth and so on. They did tell me that anybody with a backhoe, anybody with an excavator, at the front, everybody knows somebody that owns one. The world is not ending just because now we're not offering a free service. So, I've heard this a lot from everybody. We've heard it for 20 years in this county, the same story, and it never happens. But legally, and I don't know that we don't have a choice to put it in place immediately. I don't know.
Well, the law hasn't changed, so I don't suppose you'll be any more illegal tomorrow than you were a year ago.
Well, yeah, me and Terry talked about that. It's really going to hurt anything. We put a time frame out there. June 1st. As of June 1st.
At the end of the day, we shouldn't be business.
At a bare minimum, you can't ask the taxpayers to subsidize service, because the law is, I mean, I'll defer to Chris. I learned my lesson last time he brought this up. But the law clearly says that the responsibility is on the private person. So we can't subsidize the cost. Beyond that, I think we'd have to work pretty hard to even say we could be in that business at all.
I mean, I don't want the perception to be that this board's anti-farming, but I also don't want it that we're pro-farming. What I want them to do is understand this board has a set of rules that we follow by state law, by county law, to administer those fairly for everybody. And I know I'm probably going to I'll catch it tomorrow about it. I understand clearly. But it's got to be stated that we're for everybody, and at some point we can't be but so fair. Chris, you had something to add to this, you with the Department of Ag?
2 more weeks. On top, are you talking about the dead animal disposal? It does have the setbacks on it as well. There are some new amendments where we're using ground penetrating radar to determine where they used to be able to bury it wherever they want. So long as nobody knew that they had something to bury about. Now, if they contact us, it has to be approved web soil survey satellite area. That way, that as that animal dies, it doesn't like chicken pits, it doesn't seep into the water table, et cetera, et cetera. And then if it does, now they've turned it over to EPA and EPD, and we got a water quality issue. So it's just not digging a hole. Anybody, they don't have to be, a certain certificate or what have you to dig the hole, but they have to know where to dig the hole, and that would probably.
This has, from my understanding, this has to go with them. They have to get a copy of this before they do anything.
Yes, sir.
No matter who it is.
Yes, sir.
And that was one of my too, is that is actually a misdemeanor. So, county employee out, there are those setbacks, and how are they going to know where the lines are other than taking the landowner's word for it? I assume private services, at least, I would have the landowner certify where the line is and indemnify me if he told me wrong.
Use John Q. Public as well.
So if we make a motion in this, it would be okay to say, we'll make a motion that affect.
I think so.
And that gives us time, a transition period to notify the public that this is what our intent is.
I think that's fine.
Okay. And gives Chris to put together some type of list or whatever it's going to take to facilitate this happening.
Since you've hired him, you might answer one of these questions too.
Well, I mean, not detailed an answer.
I'm gonna make all the facts.
I figured that Chris can probably identify those that offering the service and.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, newspaper purpose also, we really want to get this part out there. Deer, okay, deer, this week, died in somebody's backyard of somebody else's property. So not only did the person that called want it out their backyard, but they want you to cross the barbed wire fence that don't belong to them to get it off the other guy's property. We couldn't do it. Here's a problem. We have boundaries we can go by there also, on the right of way. Not behind your house. Surely somebody knows somebody that can do something about it. But the county is not your go-to answer all the time. Because I told Al, you break that fence, now you just over repairing some farmer's property that you just trespassed on it because this guy over here needed a deer removed. So it's really hairy. It's really a touchy subject. Would you like to explain to them about why y'all dug up an animal and moved it?
Because EPD called us and told us, well, it was a neighbor just squabbled. We went and buried the animal right where the owner told us to bury it. Between them two, the neighbor called EPD, found out it was not, because that's our stipulation. Put the animal exactly where you want us to bury it, and we'll dig the hole and put it right there. But we're trying to put that back on them. They told us exactly where to put it and everything else. So, but the neighbor contacted EPD, they got involved, we had to go back, dig these remains up, move them off the property line. And that was just a couple months ago.
Any more questions on this particular topic?
Well, not to delay the conversation, but, I had several calls on both sides of it, you know, so keep it, don't keep it. I understand both positions. Nobody that wanted to keep it has volunteered to spend prison time with me, so I don't know about that. I guess my one question is there an opportunity? I think I'm gonna go to, I think one of the topics is Terry, there's somebody you know, $200 trying to proper document, you know, some kind of form or something. I'm trying to saddle a fence that I want the private industry to address it, but if there's a situation, and I can't explain why, but if there's a situation that they can't get the 24 hours or 48 hours where it needs to be addressed, is there a last-ditch effort, or is that just part of the private industry? You guys just keep calling something, sooner or later they're going to tell you how much money it's going to cost them to come out.
From a county standpoint, Mike, we would have kind of legal waivers to even be on the property, correct?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what these circumstances are that warrant the call. Again, I mean, under the law.
If we had a list, I mean, and I'm not saying it has to be a only list, but if John keeps on and Sally and nobody's come, and this animal's out there rotting, I mean, I'm trying to.
What's the state say? Anything?
24 hours from notice in the ground. Now, that's agriculture. When you get over to deer, bunny rabbit, etc., it'd be a little bit different terminology, but of course, game wardens can go and do whatever they want to say, pretty much what they want. That's off the record. I don't want them coming after me. But when it comes to finding companion animals, because like Mr. Chandler said, they do separate horses, dogs, cats, potbelly pigs are not considered agriculture pigs, etc. They have a whole different schools. And if the county decided and put a code into place for dead animals, then the county code would supersede it, and the county could either draw power instead of time where the road department had to go and do it privately done. From the agriculture side, it has to be in the ground within 24 hours in an approved area. Equine companion animal side, for a time of grieving. And then it has, I believe it stretches out 72 hours. Sorry, I'm gonna give you all the information. And then with deer, wild hogs especially, people shoot them, nuisance animals, they go down on somebody else's property owner's responsibility. So then it's time of notification from the property owner and how far along the, and it's decay material.
Wait, don't sit down, I got questions.
Yes,
I got one. So, if it doesn't happen in 24 hours, and are there any, what's the penalty for that, or is there, it's like, nobody knows it most of the time,
yes.
but he's saying, oh, well, the county should have done this, because I can't get it done 24 hours. I mean, I think penalty, but, I mean, you know, good folks here with it, but
Mass death, let's just say lightning, they're all huddled under a tree.
Same process, doesn't matter if it's one or two.
But Patricia Adams from Department of Ag said that Department of Ag will give you criteria, like if there's an outbreak of something, they extend
If
For
lightning
the
strikes a
animal
tree,
owner.
kills
for the animal only, yes.
yeah,
an everyday thing.
and if it's
But
chickens,
if
it
they
belongs
died
to
from malnutrition, et cetera, then it's on them, extenuating circumstances, and it's given over to field supervisor, ag, project manager, stuff like that, to decide. The same as if a chicken house lost power, are we gonna compost it in the house, are we gonna bury it, et cetera, et cetera. But after notified and the problem's been raised, GDA or the USDA will come out and quarantine your populations over. It comes on or off feed or agriculture wise.
Right.
And then after 6, depending on the situation, it is very dependent. It then gets turned over to the legal department, and then they will indict you. The misdemeanor comes involved. So.
right.
And so, conceptually, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, what we're sort of making is,
Yes.
this is a private responsibility because you're an animal owner.
Yes, sir.
Just as if I'm a septic tank owner. If
Yes.
that septic tank hazard there, but that doesn't mean I get to call the county and say, I can't get a plumber out here, and so you gotta do it for me. We don't do that.
Well, it's, think of it in the same light if this helps. If a car hits it, who's on visit?
Say that again?
If a cow gets out of a pasture or a horse, and a car hits it, and the car is damaged or somebody's injured, whose fault is that?
If they'll claim it.
If they'll claim it.
It might count.
But it's on the animal owner, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, if he was negligent.
If you were negligent and the fence was down, but then at the same time, it's lightning on the strike that fence and let
Gotcha.
the fence out.
All right, any more consideration on this topic?
I feel like we all understand it from a county standpoint, where this is something we're gonna have to do. And I think no argument there, much is how best to go about it. I feel very strongly that we need to have in place what we are going to recommend or how we're gonna help facilitate. Whether we do it in that order or whether we set a deadline and make sure that we have this done, having this done first and then setting a date. But one way or the other, obviously that's going to have to occur. And one thing we did not mention is this, as part of the investigation and part of this is consideration of posting and incineration as option as well. So there's a lot in this that we didn't just yesterday. We offered it because probably not because anybody asked for it. Just somebody said, well, all of a sudden it just became our responsibility. So the world doesn't end the ball.
I hope it creates 2 or 3 people in the county decide we're gonna go in business doing this because it's a service that's needed.
And then what do you do if everybody decides, well, the fee is going to be $500?
So and therefore,
So
that's when these guys.
It's a bigger deal that you.
That's when the free
should.
That's what, in discussion, Terry, I understand what you're trying
trying to get to, I guess my question is, would everybody be comfortable with asking staff to bring a proposal in the next 30 days, knowing that we want to try to target maybe June or July as a end of service? I think you're just trying to say, don't do it tomorrow.
Right. If we want to go ahead and assign it to the code enforcement officer, this will be your responsibility to help to define for us, what our recommendation is going to be to get us out of this service, and then communicate, and then define it. Perfect.
So I make a motion, to approve or deny consideration of, discontinuing burial service with the stipulation of, will not go into effect till June 1st, which will give us time to come up with our plan, right?
Make a motion in this, that we assign to the code enforcement officer establishing recommendations and guidelines for animal burial and how to properly publicize that, and for the code enforcement officer to present that to this board at the next, at the soonest board meeting, which I guess would be the next business meeting. So it'd be roughly 1 month from now that we'd be able to.
I didn't get all that.
I'm not repeating it. Go ahead.
And then once that's done, then approve a June 1 date for this season. Once that is done, once we have that recommendation in place and the publicity network set up to make sure that this is understood.
Right. So,
Can I make a substitute motion? And see what the man brings back?
That works for me.
that works.
Thank you.
So, a lot simpler than
Trying to help us,
Please, your Ron.
They're trying to help us, Ron. Yeah.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
I have a motion by Derek, a second by Derek.
I did
I think everybody's on this side.
No problem.
Just say that Commissioner Chandler withdrew his,
all right.
anyway.
I don't even know who's up. Brian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Gotcha. Motion's tabled till April 19th. Yes.
You got your first job already. You're not even on the payroll.
Stick around, we'll give you some more.
I'll have it ready.
Continuing the sale and installation of driveway pipe.
Call me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any discussion on discontinuing the sale and installation of driveway pipe? I ask for a motion to approve or deny the installation of driveway pipes by the county.
So moved.
Madison, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Derek Doster. All in favor? Derek, you're first.
Discussion.
Oh, yes.
I think it's a conversation, we need to end some services that aren't appropriate.
But you feel like retailers around and make with preparations to.
Yeah.
Is it your feeling that we want to put a date on this, or we want to just?
They were all notified a month ago. All right, so I have a first and a second. Any more discussion?
Yes.
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 Continue discontinuing gravel sales.
Motion to discontinue.
Gravel sales. Second by Mr. Kirk. Any discussion?
Just the same question. You feel like retailers have made adequate preparations to compensate for this?
I spoke with them 1 month ago, county hardware stores.
Okay.
Terry?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jonathan Poe to fill the vacant position on the rec department forward.
Jonathan, would be filling the District 5 vacancy, and I would like to make that recommendation. He's willing to serve the community, it's lots of teachers, so I think bringing him on board, he's a Madison County, lifelong resident, so I think he's in a prime of his life to facilitate us moving forward as a parent and as a former recreation person.
Thank you, Derek. Is there any more vacancies on this board? This is it.
He would be here tonight, but he had T-ball game. So.
Hey, no, that's good.
Second nomination.
Second, any more discussion? Hearing none?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Welcome, Mr.
Pugh.
Pugh.
Yeah,
Pugh?
Jonathan
Jonathan
Pugh.
Pugh.
Jonathan Pugh.
Now I recognize him. Makes sense.
He's quarterback, congratulations.
Road updates. I got Danny, you have any more?
No, I get it. And I know it's been a pretty rough wet winter and all, but also the getting a lot of complaints about, and out of them, but particularly on some of our county roads that are pretty narrow. Well, we've got so many logging poles going back and forth. Shoulders are really breaking off a little bit more, or be a little bit more aggressive in putting millings in those places. Because here again, we had a couple of complaints, folks having flat tires and bent rims and things.
I bought one of them.
Yeah, and I would like to say I appreciate Alan's attention to the Pleasant Acres Road with that washout the other evening over there.
Should be passable.
Getting close.
Okay, good.
I did have a call about it and checked on Cliff Griffith Road, and I mentioned it today, and Alan both. Don't think we have any significant issues. Just a question about when that would be paid, and they work up. Continue to have just very positive comments about the work the road department's doing, and specifically my district. We're effective and very appreciative of the job done.
Ms. Madison.
Yeah, earlier today, Piedmont Park, just to check that out.
Piedmont what?
Piedmont Park Road.
Okay.
Yeah, it rains every time. Student off a couple of times. And
Okay.
it's just, every time it rains, it just gets the ruts.
Okay. All right, no problem.
Yeah.
There's a lot of attention been on lately.
Mm-hmm.
All right, New Haven Church Road, the place where the pipe was, when we put the culvert in, it's, we're waiting on it to be paid, but right there where the culvert is at, it's gotten bad shape, so I had some people call me about that one. And then, at 24 Old New Haven Church, a spot where it accumulates water, and then it overflows out across the road.
Okay.
If we can get that, and they just call right. I can't. I didn't have a chance to talk to them.
Yes, sir.
I'll have to follow up with Alan and Derek. I've left them listed.
All right, no problem.
And I know we don't want to talk about limit work, but I've talked about it for years. It's just,
We're fixing to talk about it.
okay.
It's
Commissioner Kirk reminded me to talk to you about New Town Church Road. When you were out of commission, folks, about that. That's
okay. As far as myself on the road updates, during the rain, but we spread it all over the county, and a lot of it was light coat. Just because you got some gravel, don't think that's the finished product. We were just trying to knock the mud down to keep it as best we could, hit as many spots as we could while the rain was down. It's the roads that'll carry us all the way to winter time, working on it. I will also agree with you. They've done a really good job of trying to stay ahead of these things. Paving season is upon us. We should be getting back some, here just soon. So hopefully we get some paving started soon. Anybody have anything else tonight? Any urgent matters? Comments and remarks from citizens? Statements and remarks from commissioners?
Yeah, I'd like, go ahead, I'd like to share, most everybody or initiated a noise study in the Culvert area, last year. The data collection, part of that has completed. I'd like to opt out on mine, property owners that help participate in that study to get a little bit more information from them. Data is one thing, but an opportunity to share and talk to them and with everybody, they then possibly bring back some final recommendations or adjustments that may need action from this body or not. We all know how the rumor mill goes, so until we have that conversation, I'd like to be able to, but just for public purpose and complete the data collection portion.
Thank you for not only getting the information of that one.
That's great. I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I do. It is with a relieved heart that I announce my resignation as Madison County District 3 County Commissioner to be effective May 31st, to devote 100% of my work efforts to the staff, students, families, and stakeholders of Holt Sanford Elementary School. That's to serve this wonderful county and its citizens for 5.5 years. Since taking on the program director position at the rec department in 1992 and first being, I've developed countless relationships and friendships. Given this opportunity, and appreciate being able to work with and get to know the members who I serve with, the department heads, county staff members, the fine residents of Madison County. There are too many people to thank, but I must give a shout out to my husband, Nick, dinner on the table on late, and my daughters, Alexa and Randy, for putting up with a mom on the BOC night meal. Again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for giving some of the best people, citizens of Madison County.
Thank you, Ms. Bettis.
That you have a copy. That is a little bit different than
Thank you for your service. Sorely missed.
well, you're all kind.
Yes.
Thank you.
From knowing you years, you have continuously burned. You don't just pick two ordinary jobs to be the principal of an elementary school and then try to help for anybody. And I will say you carried it as well as anybody ever could have.
Well, you're awful. I've been up since 1:15 this morning. I'm still ready to go.
All right. In executive, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. So move Derek Doster.
Second.
Danny Adams. Go ahead. Derek.
Different fire vote.
All right, there you go.